which brings the total up to 1308. Starting today off with the BMX for a reason. It's pretty common here on this channel for me to acquire something on the lower end, the cheaper end, the not built end, and slowly but surely build it up, upgrade it to a point that I'm happy with it. This part is mostly for the three of you who haven't heard me say this 100,000 times, but the catalyst for that was a BMX when I was like 13. Building a custom BMX, very expensive out of the gate. You don't get to ride right away. So you buy a complete, you upgrade it slowly over time, and then eventually you buy a frame to replace it. Another reason why I wanted to open this with the BMX is because I did like a bad bar spin on this bank yesterday and posted it on Instagram. I want to do a good one for this video because I'm a narcissist and I want you to think I'm a better biker than I actually am. Never mind, some days you just, you don't have it. I'm gonna leave that temper tantrum in there to teach myself a lesson. Also, I'm gonna try to drop off each tier of this bench. Failure is also an option here. Oh! Okay, this last one's a little scary. Not doing it. It's not that much taller, but it is way scarier. Wow, this intro sucks. Okay. On to the story. Now, the process is flawless. You get to ride right away. You can spread out the spending of money over long periods of time, only replace things when they break or when you want something or when you can afford it. It's perfect as long as you do not break the cardinal rule of looking at what you've spent. That can lead to self-doubt, depression. And I'm not qualified to deal with that kind of stuff. But in the last Q&A, someone did ask, fun to see like a cost breakdown, a true cost breakdown of one of your bikes. And we're gonna do it with the Rockhopper. This is probably the best documented build that we have, so it'll be easier to follow. I'm gonna regret this. Okay, so I've organized this process by each milestone that we've done with the Rockhopper. Each will have a total with an additional subtotal underneath. So it should be really easy to follow. There's an associated playlist. I don't know what I'm pointing at. There's an associated playlist called the Grouch Rockhopper Progress. You could watch each video and you'll know the associated price that comes with it. So let's start right off with the least intimidating part of this entire build. It was actually acquiring it. I acquired the bike for $200, which puts us at a total in that particular milestone of $200 and a subtotal of $200. We single speeded the bike. The bike had a bunch of problems with the shifters, the chain, everything. There's a bunch of stuff worn out on it. So my mindset was, okay, let's just make it single speed, put drop bars that I just so happen to have on it, and it'll be rideable like right away for the least amount of money that I can do it for. So that went a little bit like I had some SRAM Apex 10-speed shifters that were left over from another bike, so I consider those free. The bars came from the original, like the first ever dirt cheap gravel bike. Those were free. Chainring was just taken, a 34 tooth taken off of like a 10-speed double. That was free. And then I had to, because I went to drop bar levers, I had to put mini V-brakes on. I paid $50 for those. So for that video, there's a total of $50 spent, which puts us at a subtotal of $250. Not bad. Doesn't hurt my brain too much. But, oh man, this is like one of those things I don't like to remember doing, but I remember hitting the purchase button. I really wanted to emulate a stump jumper that I had found online, same sort of purple. He had green homage tires on his. I was like, I want green. To get them to me was $171, but I also had to change brakes to a cantilever brake again. Because, well, the Mini Vs, well, they didn't work that great, but also they wouldn't clear the bigger tire that I put on. So that's a total of $206 spent just to get tires, putting us at a subtotal of $456 to get that look. But I wanted it bad enough that I did it. Okay, next up, and the second highest expense that this bike had was swapping it to a proper 10-speed setup. The Cassette actually came off of the carbon felt mountain bike. When I sold that bike off, I wanted to keep the Cassette, so I did. But I paid $80 for it the day of the Canada Cup race. The Freehub body swap, I actually had a hub here, so I did that swap. That didn't cost anything. I had bought a non-clutch X9 rear derailleur thinking it was clutch. It wasn't. It cost me $50. I ran it for a little while. It didn't really, the bike shifted really bad with that on. So I ended up picking up a Rival 1 rear derailleur and a brake hanger at the same time from Les Vélos. I think he gave me a pretty good deal on this. That was $164 and $8 for the brake hanger and an appropriate chain to go with it, $30. That gives us a total spent to do the drivetrain of, what is that? $332. Subtotal coming up to $788. This is all Canadian figures, by the way. Man, I like vividly remember doing all of this. Oh my gosh. Moving right along, the modern, like doing all of the front end part. When it had the data stem on it, the Pro Discovery bars, and a non-matching seat post, which came out of the Poseidon X. So that didn't cost anything. But that was, the bar was $130. The stem I ordered from Chain Reaction. It was $51. The stem adapter, which is a Profile Designs stem adapter, it's a quill adapter, $38 to get to the door. Bar tape, Pro bar tape, I'm pretty sure it was $40. It might have been less, but I don't want to underestimate here. So $40 for bar tape. And also, and I think this was a mistake to buy this chainring, $86 from Jenson USA. I still have that chainring on that crank. So total spent there, $345. The next few parts have just been like things that have kind of happened. Like all the Ritchey parts that went on it, those were sponsored. And that leaves us still at $1,133. And it really kind of elevated the look of the bike. It just really rounded it out. One thing that I knew the bike was missing was wheels. And then Colin found a set, the wheels that are on it now, a White Industries front hub laced to a Mavic X517 rim, XTR rear hub laced to the same Mavic rim. Colin was going to buy them, backed out, and said, Eric, do you want to buy them? The guy only wants $175. Yes, please. Go subtotaling $1,308. I had to buy those wheels. Okay, and then most recently we swapped to flat bar on this bike. The grips were $10 at Canadian Tire. The levers were $12 at Canadian Tire. The bars I had, cranks came off of the original Poseidon Redwood, so they didn't cost me anything either, giving us a total of $22 to do the flat bar swap from the drop bar swap, which brings our subtotal, our total money spent, start to finish, on this bike, Mr. Grouch, Mr. Rock Hopper, $1,330. Not a figure that you like to think of as a whole number, but that all took place over 1.5 years. You have to remember, because this number is not that fun to think of. It's not bad. It's actually better than I thought it would be, but it's still not. Like when I look at it and I'm like, how much did I spend? In my brain, I'm like, well, I spent $200 on this bike. But no, you spent 30. This is why you don't think about this. But over 1.5 years, how many months is that? So let's say 18 months, $74 a month spent. That's not bad. It's better to think of it that way than the whole number. Okay, that is the less depressing than I thought it would be cost breakdown of putting this thing together over a period of a long time. I think it makes sense. I will continue to always build bikes this way, but I probably will not do any more of these. Like if I did it with the Ronster Cross, I think that would bother me. Almost forgot. If this channel gets to 50,000 subscribers by December 31st, 2021, I'll give away a Redwood. If the channel gets to 75,000 subscribers by that same date, I will also give away the Ronster Cross. If we get to 100,000 subscribers, I'll give away this bike that we just did the cost breakdown on. All that history, all the money spent, all those hard to find parts, especially the wheels, could be yours if you subscribe. So you should subscribe.